I love my family to death. I love them. I would do anything I can to help them, to do whatever it takes to be there for them. My brothers, my family, I love them so dearly much. But I'm ashamed to say that it hasn't always been this way for me. There were some points in my life where I legitimately hated my parents. I wanted to do nothing with them and I wanted to stay as far away as possible from them. In my case, I've grown up with parents that were not born and raised in the Western world, but rather were raised in a very traditional sense. And so because of this generational shift, there was a lot of conflicts between me and my family, and it was unbearably difficult sometimes to try and connect together. I'm ashamed to admit that I've yelled at my parents, that I've called them names, I have said some pretty mean, horrible things to them, that I've treated them with disrespect. I'm very ashamed, but I have done that, and I will ultimately be sorry for the amount of problems and issues that I've caused towards them, especially when they have done so much for me. I think a lot of you guys might relate that sometimes it's difficult to connect with your parents, to be with them, to be there at the right moment, to think about them, to wanting to help them. Sometimes we're so caught up in our own lives and just thinking so negatively about our parents. We forget sometimes that they're humans, that they can make mistakes, they're capable, and it's completely okay for them to make mistakes. Of course, parents can do quite damaging and traumatic things to us, but we're children. We have yet to face parenthood ourselves. You can easily complain about a teacher's job or a doctor's job or a software engineer's job, but have you actually been there in a hospital to actually heal people? Have you actually taught people classes of 30, 50 students? Have you done that? You haven't done this. I don't think you complain much. It's very easy for us to complain about things, to think about the negatives, to look at them, and to just focus purely on these things. It's so hard for us to actually think about the positives, and a lot of us struggle to actually appreciate people, to actually appreciate things, to actually have a positive outlook towards something. And to our parents, it's no different. We antagonize our parents so much. When is the last time you came to your friends and said something positive about your parents? You probably said the last time you probably talked about your parents was telling about how they're annoying, how they're causing me so much anxiety, so much stress. And while these might be true, these feelings that you have might be valid, you are ignoring a lot of the good things that your parents have done for your life. For the majority of you, you have a mother that has given you birth, that's taken care of you while you were a child. Do you know how much patience they must have to raise you? Just imagine you just screaming, yelling, crying all the time, and somehow your mom just never raised her tone. She was there to caress you, to kiss you, to tell you how amazing you are, even though you just scream and yell at her for years. You've been doing that for years. You haven't even thanked your mom for this. You haven't even thanked your dad. Your dad was alongside all of that too. My parents did something incredible for me. When I was young, at the age of 2, 3 years old, I could barely speak. I could barely actually interact with people. I had complete and utter social anxiety. I was just a really difficult child overall. And they could have let me be. They could have just let me do my thing, and I could have grown up with a lot of issues, but God, it always makes me really happy, but to mention this, I swear it really does, but they've literally spent so much time, effort, energy into actually being with me when I was younger. Like, I could literally visually remember when my dad and my mom brought me into this class, or not class, but this thing with a private teacher who would actually put time to teach me about how to speak, how to learn sense of directions. I can literally visually remember these sessions that I had when I was younger. It's crazy to think that they dumped so much money. My parents at the time were not loaded. I can tell you this right now. My parents were not loaded. They were not financially comfortable at that time. They were struggling. They were new here to Canada not too long ago, and they were trying to save up as much money as possible to raise 2 kids at the time. And the fact that they put me as a priority because of my issues as a kid, that's huge. It's big. Nobody could have done anything. Nobody. And they've decided to actually take the time to be with me, to give me as much attention. My dad used to play ball with me all the time when I was younger. Just give me that attention, just to make me move. My mom was always there to be affectionate, hug me, to when I'm down, she's just there. And that kept going on even until this day. They're always there for me. I'm 23 years old right now, and they're allowing me to stay in their home. And a lot of parents can actually just decide, screw off, get out of here. You don't deserve to live here. You need to work, you need to do things on your own. But my parents actually support me still till this day. They still actually let me live with them. They love being in my company, my surrounding, even at this age. And it's very heartwarming to see that. I'm astonished by the amount of things they've done done for me. You know, like, I will never be able to give back. And of course, like, they've done a lot of things that are wrong. They've done a lot. I can list from A to Z, like, a lot of things that they could have done better, but what's the point? They're human. They're human. Like, yeah, my dad can yell, can say some really terrible things to me. My mom can sometimes create issues for no reason. No, moms can be moms, dads can be dads, but at the end of the day, look who I am. Look where I am right now. I'm healthy. I'm a healthy young man because a lot of it has to do with my parents. And I'm internally grateful for the stuff they've done for me. For years, I believed that my parents were toxic. I believed, oh my god, my parents are narcissists. My parents are just people that really care about very superficial things. I had very toxic mentality towards them. And sure enough, like, yeah, I can understand a bit, like, of those feelings, why I felt this way. But life is about perspective. You can easily see people in a really bad and negative way. It's so easy for you to see people this way. I've learned that it's not ideal for you to feel this way with your parents. You want to be with them for the rest of your life. They're your key to happiness. It's so easy for us to just blame the parents for our problems and to rationalize that, yeah, they're the problem, and, you know, I'm the kid, you know, I'm younger, I should be treated this way. But you have to be the bigger person sometimes. You actually sometimes have to get up and actually tell yourself that, you know what, I've been a bit of a dick to them. I've lacked a few things. Like, you know, I'm not perfect either. You can easily argue that, yeah, of course, they're supposed to be better than you because they're older than you, they're your parents, but no. It's a relationship like any other. If your relationship with your girlfriend or with your boyfriend or your wife, husband, or your friends, you want to make sure there's some equality. You want to make sure that both of you feel like the time you both spent is worth it. If you keep just taking from your parents, what do you think is gonna happen? Like myself, back then, I was barely contributing towards the house. I was barely contributing towards, like, the relationship with my parents, avoiding them as much as I can. And fair enough, I understand. Like, I was busy with school, I was busy with so many things, but I'll always be busy. My parents will always be busy, but how come they've taken time to be with me? How come they take the time to be there when I need it? That's not really a reasonable excuse to say that you're extremely busy. You'll always need social interaction one way or another, and I think it's really important for you to build that social interaction with your parents. To some, I can understand that it's not easy for you to really explain everything to your parents, to be completely transparent with them. Of course, you know, some parents can be very difficult to talk about your issues. They may make it worse, but it's important still to be transparent as much as you can with your parents. They are there to help you. They're there to actually, like, give you the best. They're there to give you the best. They're there to love you. They're there to make you feel the best you possibly can. They're here for you to succeed. What do you think they want? Do you think they want to hurt you? Do you think they'd want you to just cry all day, feel bad? No, not at all. They want you to feel good, man. They want you to feel great. I love my family, and it's taken time for me to love them. It has taken me a lot of time for me to get where I am, and I think that's okay. I think that's part of our journey. I think it's understandable for us to take time to understand the love with our parents. And you might be in a position where you don't really love your parents, you don't really connect with them. You might be really distant with them, you might be living far away from them, and you know what? You might feel a little bit guilty for not being with them right now. In the back of your mind, in your subconscious, you might feel this way, but eventually, if you care, if you still even an inch of it, if you still care about your family and your parents, you will get to a point where you'll love them again. You'll love them like you did when you were younger, when you were a little baby. You will. And I hope you get that, man, because I will never trade that. There's no girl in the world, there's no friend in the world, there's nobody in the world that can replace my family. I love them. I love them. I love them. I want to be with them for the rest of my life. I want to give back as much as I can to them. I will never be able to give back what they have given me. Never. I know that for a fact. It's impossible. But I know that I can try my best and get to a point where I can really love them as much as I possibly can. If you're having a tough time actually bonding with your parents, I will say this: try to actually see things more in a positive lens. Remember that they love you. They want the best for you. Keep that in mind, even if they scream at you, even if they sound like they don't care. Really, they're just having a hard time to express it, especially because of the way they've been raised. If you're the bigger person, if you show them that they can trust you, that you're doing great, that you're giving it your all in this relationship, trust me, they'll become better to you. If you're helping around the home, you're actually contributing, like even small things, trust me, your mom and dad are gonna be so appreciative even with the smallest things. You go on ahead and you drive the car. If occasionally you go on ahead and take their car, you know, and you spend the gas for them from time to time, trust me, they'll appreciate that. They'll appreciate that so much. You go on ahead and you get some groceries sometimes to them. They'll appreciate that. They come back home and you make some cooked food for them. They will appreciate that. You are showing them that you love them, but also that you've grown. That will make them so happy. Your parents want you to be at a point where you can build a great relationship with others, that you can do great things for others, and if you're showing that to them directly, they will feel so freaking amazing. love them. Love them. No, seriously, love them. I don't want you to hesitate when you say that I love you to your parents. I want you to really feel that you love them. There's nothing on the back of your mind that's like, that's iffy. I want you to really love them. For that, it takes time. Like any relationship in the world, it takes time for you to get there. But when you do, trust me, it's so worth it. It's so bloody worth it. I am happy with where I am with my parents. I can talk with them. I can be around with them. I can caress them. I can be affectionate to them. You know, like I can feel at ease to talk about certain things. I would say not everything. I'll be honest with you. Not everything. I am not comfortable talking about everything to my parents. But I'm comfortable talking about a lot of things, and that makes me happy at least. I love my family. I love my parents. I love my family. I love them to death, and I love them until the end of time. If you guys are listening, any of your family members, any of you family, my brothers or sister-in-law or my parents or anybody from the family, anybody that's correlated to this family, I just want to say that I love you. I love you. I truly do. I love you. I want to make sure that I can output the best value as possible to you guys, and yeah, straight up, I love you. So I think that will be it for me, everyone. Take good care of yourselves, and again, keep your life exciting.